Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of At Dre's Table. I'm your host, Dre, and we're actually here to talk about some fun things. And maybe not always fun, but I want to share a little bit more of my personal story. The last couple of days, in between making cooking videos and some TikToks and some other things, and having some uh, interviews and things of that nature, I realized that I really hadn't come on here and told you my personal story. Because when you tell a personal story, you start to talk about the stress of it. If there was stress, if there's change, and from the change, what does redirection look like, and all that fun stuff. So I figured I'm not going to look at my notes. I had all these notes typed out. I said, you know what? I'm just going to speak from the heart and soul. So yeah. So obviously, y'all already know. So with the job change and things of that nature. But it's the other side of that I want to really focus on. I start thinking about manifestation and you start thinking about the things to do. By the way, because I have the time, I've rearranged my shelves. I've cleaned out closets, my pantry. I'm going to paint it probably on Monday, all the crazy things. But it's what happens in between those moments, right? You'll sit down, or I'll sit down, and I'll have a random thought, or I'll pay bills, and then I look at my bank account, and in years past, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I would have been in a state of utter panic. I mean, absolute panic over, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And I have to tell you, the last 3 weeks that I've focused on posting consistently, let me try and say that again, and watching TikTok videos with a purpose, not just randomly scrolling like I used to do. And then all of a sudden you get that video. Hi, have you been scrolling for too long? If you know, you know. So I've learned what to do, how to do it. I actually have 2 or 3 people that I follow. I have to write their names down. Next time I come on here, I'll tell you who they are in case you want to just go follow them. But they provide pretty much daily information without the fluff. This is what you can do. When you get into the 200 and 300 view range, they shared today not to go panic and not to be like, oh my goodness, this isn't working out. If you do 5 videos a week and it's 200 views, or just minimum of those videos, that's 1,000 views in a week. And then I learned to look at the analytics of TikTok and to find out where the views were coming from. And I learned today that 68% of all my views come from the FYP page. So if you're on TikTok and you know what that means, that's actually a big deal. That means the algorithm is starting to figure out what my topics are, what my niche is, and all of that stuff. It's because of this that I feel I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to really worry. You gotta be strategic, don't get me wrong. You have to be very cautious as to what you do, how you spend your money. But I think there's beauty in the chaos, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's a big deal. It's a big deal when I probably should have been in a state of panic. But what is that going to accomplish, right? Like when shit happens, what are you going to do? Just cry all day? I'm like, that's not going to get you anywhere. Many years ago, I was in network marketing in a company called Prove It, and there was one of the leaders, Jessie Lee Ward, and like, I literally, as I'm learning to be strategic on TikTok to become an influencer or content creator, doing the proper things so that I can monetize, her voice is in my head, as strange as that may be. Now, God rest her soul, but it's her voice that I hear saying, so what? Post it anyway. So I started channeling that energy, and all of a sudden my views started going up. Then I got my first pitch to partner with a brand to pay me to do 3 or 4 TikTok videos, depending on what, my preferences are. You have to apply to get approved. But the mere fact, mere? Yeah, mere. Fact that this has happened after just being consistent for 3 weeks, consecutive weeks, is a big deal. And I know that it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. And that is why I'm no longer afraid. Not only reading my daily mantras, because I have that as well. You should check out TikTok. I do talk about the mantras and I say them every single day, multiple times a day. Because it's important for me to recognize that there's no room for fear here. Fear is not allowed. I won't allow myself to go down that rabbit hole like I used to in years past, right? Like, what's the point? There is no point. And I think that's the point. Just suck it up, buttercup, and go do what you have to do. That's why when I had the topic to talk about fear and hold on, what was the topic? It's the emotional toll of stress, change, and then how does redirection come in? Well, guess what? I had to sort of figure stuff out, right? And there's this one creator that I follow. Her videos just caught my eye. She's a 58-year-old woman who was laid off from her job, and she was like, "What am I going to do?" And then she started doing TikTok videos and things like that. And she's about a year and a half in. Of course, this isn't no results. No two people have the same results, but it gave me that first glimmer of hope that you could do this. And then we see like the Michaela Nagaras in the beauty industry, the Jeffree Stars, and all these different people who have millions and millions of views. Now that doesn't happen for everyone. I'll be happy with my first 5,000 views just to get me going, right? Because then is my message or my niche or is something that I say resonating with somebody. I did I think a 60-second TikTok video, and I did get a message saying, "Wow, you gave me something that I needed to hear today." That is all I needed to hear. I think the video only got like 200 views, but to get a comment like that somebody says, "Thank you for your message. It's exactly what I wanted, what I needed to hear today," that means a lot. And that's what made me realize that there is purpose in the mess, in the minutia of it all. It doesn't really matter. There is something great about just being yourself, being open and honest, but also allowing yourself the grace to go through the mess. That's a tough one. For many years, I did therapy, and I still have my therapist and things like that. But you have to be comfortable and honest and open with yourself when you're going through therapy. Because if you just tell the therapist what you think you want them to hear, guess what? You're never going to do the self-work. And the tough work is looking inside of yourself, figuring things out, and then going, okay, is this the right thing? Is it not the right thing? What if we just did this? Or what if we just did that? You're not going to know. I journal. I journal a lot because sometimes I have these thoughts at midnight, 1 in the morning, and I'm like, okay, let me just write it out. I'll type out on my phone if it's late at night because I'm not going to get up and write in my physical journal. But you've got to go through the mess. Whatever you've been holding on to, whatever you've been harboring, whatever you decided to stick away in the back of your mind because you're like, I just can't mentally deal with it. You're going to have to deal with it if you want to succeed. And that was, I think, all of that combined. The job loss, the therapy, being comfortable in that mess, I think is what really made me get to where I am right now. And I can say with full confidence and full grace of God and all of this that I am blessed. Yeah, I'm jobless at the moment. So what? I have a roof over my head. I have food on the table. I'm able to impact even just one person makes it all worth it. Because then I know that my story is not my story anymore. It's to share with others and know that it's okay. I've said it before. If you want to cry, cry. I literally don't judge, but I'll watch a Hallmark movie. Yes, I watched the Hallmark movie. I love it. And a tear will shed depending on what it is, or I'll be cleaning and then all of a sudden something will pop into my head and I'll get a little sad, a tear will shed. I allow myself to go through it. So what? Wipe away those tears. You're going to be all right. It's all going to be all right. It's going to work out. But if you don't believe it's going to work out, you're going to fall into that downward spiral that a lot of us, even myself included at one point, fell into. And you don't want to get down that spiral because what's the point? No, don't. Okay, give yourself a pity party for a few minutes. You know, if you need to do that, because I did. When I lost the job, I was like, I had a pity party. I allowed myself to go through it for a day, and then I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. But it was in the course of the few weeks after that news hit me that I was like, it's okay. But I had to start believing it. Hence why I write out and read my daily mantras. Because I needed to remind myself that 1, I am worthy. 2, I am divinely guided. Nothing I do on this earth is without the grace of God and the universe, right? At least that's my belief. So if you believe that, that's wonderful. If you don't, that's okay too. But everything is in divine timing. Not an easy lesson to follow or to learn, but you have to allow yourself, you got to go through the mess. You're going to have to do the hard work. Do the hard work. It does not matter. Cry some more if you have to as you're going through the hard work. That hard work will lead you to the other side, which is what? Success. It'll lead you to the other side where it's inner peace. It'll take you to wherever you have to go to find your center, where you are, where you're most comfortable. I'm the president of the HOA where I live, right? And one of the things that some of my board members tell me, and I laugh, they're like, why don't you ever get angry? And I laugh inside because if this had been the me in my 20s, I am now a 50-year-old man. I'm like, y'all don't pay my bills. If you don't have my personal number, guess what? I think it was, who said that? Tom Holland. If you don't have my personal number, then you can't have a problem with me because that just means you don't know me. And it's kind of true. I don't let stupid things or silly things, gossip or rumors, I could care less. One thing they've learned in this building, again, off topic entirely, but is that when I don't talk about behind anybody's back, I actually tell them to their face, and they've all realized that. Like, if a rumor or gossip gets to me, I confront the individual, like, head on, hey, what's up? So what's this that I'm hearing about? And I don't know what you're talking about. That's not me. Listen, Linda. Edelflower tonic, no alcohol in here. It's just really delicious. It doesn't matter. Listen, years of therapy have taught me this one thing, and it's allow yourself the grace. Go through it. Choose what you're going to let into your world. Do not let anything into your inner sanctum that's going to disturb that peace. You need to protect your peace like it's a halo around you and protect yourself. Allow yourself to be happy. Allow yourself to be sad. Allow yourself to be like, what would life be if I did this? And then change the words that you say. This is where I'm going to leave you. You know, getting through the last 5 weeks maybe, 5 or 6 weeks, has been a journey. But I can tell you that whether it's 5 or 6 weeks, I've learned to be thankful, be grateful for the life that you have. I tell people all the time, you woke up today, it's a good day. Because if you don't wake up, I'm sorry, it's not a good day anymore. But also that you have faith and belief that you are divinely guided from whoever, the universe, from God, whatever you believe in, and allow yourself to just go through it. Step into that discomfort is the last thing I'll leave you with. I promise you, it will lead you to where you belong and where you're destined to be. Okay. Thank you for listening. And if you're going through a tough time, tell me how you're overcoming all of those challenges, because I believe in you. I believe in you. If no one has told you this, I believe in you, because I had to learn how to believe in myself first so that I can overcome all of those obstacles and all of those challenges. So if no one has told you, I believe in you and I love you. Don't know who you are, but sometimes you need a stranger to say I love you so that you can realize that 1, you're worthy, 2, you're loved, and you're a badass. We can do this. Until next time, talk to y'all later. Bye.